This person says, I'm not sure how society is going to deal with neo-feudalists / accelerationists like Thiel, Yarvin, Sachs, and Musk without violence. So I totally understand what you're saying, and I do think that's what will happen. In fact, over a year ago, I made a video that said that someone is going to start taking things into their own hands, and that's going to become a pattern, and it will probably continue to accelerate, but it will only make it worse. It's not going to solve the problem. This is an image from the early 1900s, I think it was like 1904, of what was at that point called robber barons, which was the term that they used at the time popularly to refer to what we would now call oligarchs. And you can see this amorphous oligarch creature has its tentacles wrapped around all of these different institutions. And this is how we have to think about people like that, because they really aren't people anymore. They are these stateless entities. There is no person with $400 billion in assets. That is a stateless entity. That thing is bigger than a person. It has inertia of its own. It has a will of its own. And it continues to accumulate by whatever means necessary, no matter what it costs everyone else. It's not something that can be solved that simply. It's bigger than a person. And the bigger problem here is that we have a bunch of them. Like, it's not just one of these. It's a bunch of these. And we're making new ones all the time. And vigilantism just isn't a solution to that. And making them feel threatened is only going to make them worse. The realistic answer, I think, is taxes, is not allowing a person to accumulate $400 billion in assets, taxing income above a certain point. For example, the line above which your life doesn't continue to improve, like the quality of your life is not different anymore after a certain point, that number is $12.6 million. No one benefits from having $20 million instead of $12.6 million. There is no increase in quality of life. There is no increase in what you can do with your time. Anything above that is egregious and unnecessary and antisocial, and it causes this. And anything above that should be taxed at 100%. The classic argument that's always given for like, no, we need to let people hoard resources on this egregious scale, or they won't want to innovate and compete. The fact is, their quality of life doesn't get better after $12.6 million. That is the upper limit. Beyond that, there is no improvement. There's nothing else to shoot for. They're just adding zeros to a bank account, and they're doing whatever it takes to do that. And it causes us to be in a situation where we have to have conversations like this. And it's unnecessary, and we know the solution, which is taxing this class out of existence through taxes, not through vigilantism. I really think that will only make it worse. But CJ, they control the government. How are we going to do that? We need to unionize everything everywhere, and together demand this and many other things, which I think most of the things almost everyone agrees on, right? All of the things that are not controversial in terms of like workers, in terms of voters, that are absolutely not reflected in the perspective of what's actually implemented in policy by the people like this and the people that are owned by people like this. It's that simple.